Today's video is going to be very interesting, since Facebook is getting sued once again. However, when I finished recording this video yesterday, I realized Thrill had uploaded a video about basically the exact same thing. So in case you guys want to check out his video, make sure to check it out right up here. He usually goes a lot more in-depth into things that I might personally miss. So in case you guys are interested in that, it's gonna be right up in the informational card. Now, let me send you over to Mysticle from yesterday, and let's get right into the news. Facebook monopolizing? What's new? Facebook getting sued? What's new once again? But that's correct. Facebook is getting sued once again. And I know this isn't new news. This actually came out probably about a few days ago. So those of you that already know about it, props to you. However, those of you that don't, yes, Facebook is getting sued by the FTC once again, and this time they're getting sued for, well, the exact same thing. The judge last time declined their trial because apparently they didn't have enough proof. Well, this time the FTC is suing Facebook for anti-competitive practices for taking over companies when they themselves couldn't survive. This is nothing that we wouldn't have known before. However, we're gonna go through it because in this document, the word metaverse is mentioned. While there is zero mention of Oculus on its own, there is no doubt in my mind that if this trial did succeed, Oculus would have to face repercussions. And we know this because in these documents, WhatsApp and Instagram are mentioned. From that, you can kind of take that the rest of the companies Facebook took over fall under the same line. So, in this document, the FTC argues that when Facebook was entering the mobile market, they couldn't innovate, they couldn't survive, and they couldn't keep themselves going. So therefore, they engaged in anti-competitive practices, and every time they felt threatened by a company, they bought it out and shut it down. Or didn't necessarily even shut it down, they just bought it out and took over it. That way, they could survive. And the FTC argues that this is no different to monopolizing. Buying out companies and turning them into yourself is no different from the one company monopolizing. This is essentially killing the competition as well. Facebook did buy Instagram back in 2012 when it was being a competition to Facebook's mobile app. Facebook bought WhatsApp back in 2014 when it was probably a threat to its messenger platform. And Facebook also bought Oculus back in 2014 when it was probably a company that they needed in order to expand their metaverse. Let me read you a little paragraph from this document. Facebook lacked the business acumen and technical talent to survive the transition to mobile. After failing to compete with new innovators, Facebook illegally bought and buried them when their popularity became an existential threat, said Holly Vedova, FTC Bureau of Competition acting director. This conduct is no less anti-competitive than if Facebook had bribed emerging app competitors not to compete. The antitrust laws were enacted to prevent precisely this type of illegal activity by monopolists. Facebook's actions have suppressed innovation and product quality improvements, and they have degraded the social network experience, subjecting users to lower levels of privacy and data protections and more intrusive ads. The FTC's action today seeks to put an end to this illegal activity and restore competition for the benefit of Americans and honest businesses alike. That's actually something I've wondered about quite a bit. If Facebook hadn't taken over all of these companies, where would we be now? Would we be having more innovation? Would these companies have grown to an absolutely enormous size and possibly done something we haven't seen before? Currently, Facebook may or may not be suppressing these companies. We don't know that because we don't know what would have happened if they had the chance to innovate and grow on their own without the help or the takeover of Facebook, whatever you want to call it. Personally, I would love to have seen what they could have created, because now everything is kind of under the umbrella of Facebook and we don't really have a choice in what we can choose. So I can see where the FTC is coming from, and I know that a lot of you feel the same way, especially towards Oculus Quest devices. I wonder what Oculus could have done without Facebook. I mean, I don't think they could have made their devices as cheap as they are now, but I do think that they were capable of that kind of innovation. According to the amend complaint, a critical transition period in the history of the internet and in Facebook's history was the emergence of smartphones and mobile internet in the 2010s. Facebook's CEO Mark Zuckerberg recognized at the time, quote-unquote, "we're vulnerable in mobile," and a major shareholder worried that Facebook's mobile weakness ran the risk of the unthinkable happening, being eclipsed by another network. So as you can see there, back in the 2010s, when phones were becoming more popular, when people were browsing the internet on their phones instead of taking out a laptop, Facebook was worried about competition, was worried about dying out. Now, is that a reason to shut down these other companies? Well, as a business, probably enough of a reason. Facebook's dominant position is also protected by significant barriers to entry, including high switching costs. Over time, users of a personal social network build more connections and develop a history of posts and shared experiences, which they cannot easily transfer to another personal social networking provider. I can see where this is coming from. My dad's Facebook was hacked back in the day, and he was actually quite sad about that. You know, he lost a lot of posts. People get quite attached to social networks, which is why I don't use them. They post basically their entire lives on there, and it's like their second life. It's not something you should be doing, and there has been a history of bad things happening when you do that, but it does happen. Other significant barriers to entry include user-to-user efforts, known as network efforts, which make a personal social network more valuable as more users join the service. As the amend complaint notes, it is very difficult for a new entrant to displace an established personal social network in which users, friends, and family already participate. Also understanding, you're not going to join a social network where there are no users. You're going to join the one where your friends and family already are. That just makes sense. However, what I would like to read to you guys is the part where it finally mentions the metaverse. The FTC is very worried that these anti-competitive business practices are going to continue into the metaverse. Now, this absolutely reminds me of IOI. Like, it's scary. It really is, because people have been worried about this happening. People have been mentioning it in the comments section. They've been like, oh yeah, Facebook is now IOI. This is IOI if Facebook becomes the metaverse. Whatever percentage of our view is going to be ads. It's scary. It really is. And that seems to be directly being mentioned right here in this complaint. So I'm going to download it. Having suspended its anti-competitive platform policies in response to an anticipated public scrutiny, Facebook is likely to reinstate such policies if such scrutiny passes. Indeed, to this day, Facebook continues to screen developers and weaponize API access in ways that cement its dominance. Moreover, Facebook is likely to reinstate its conditioning or other similar anti-competitive practices when it next faces acute competitive pressures from a period of technological transition. Such pressure may arise, for example, around increased use of artificial intelligence or around Facebook's own view that future dominant technology companies will offer users a compelling metaverse, a virtual environment that hosts users in digital spaces, and that, as Mr. Zuckerberg recently said, will be the quote-unquote successor of the internet. So there you go. I'm not going to read the entire thing because it is unbelievably long. I have read a lot of it myself in my free time, and in case you guys want to read it, I will leave a link to it down below, as usual, in case you are interested in the actual ins and outs of this. If we were to make a video about this, we'd need to make it 20 minutes long, and I'm just here giving you guys the basics, and in case you're interested, you can hop on in and check out the rest yourself. The metaverse is going to be a scary place if Facebook takes over, especially with these kinds of practices. As many people have told me in the comment section, and I have absolutely agreed with, the metaverse should be open source. That's not going to happen if Facebook creates it. The metaverse should be open to everyone, open to all developers. The world should be interconnected. However, it seems here that if Facebook sees a threat from maybe one of these worlds, it's going to take over and bury it, just like it did with all the others. Quite a scary idea, to be completely honest with you. And let me know what you think about all of this down below. Do you want the FTC to succeed? The repercussions for Oculus might be, I can't think of what the repercussions might be. They might want all the companies to get split from Facebook, to Facebook give them back their independence. I personally don't think that's going to happen. That would be an absolutely massive ask, and if that happened, a lot of these companies honestly might not survive. They've been under Facebook's umbrella for so long, they honestly might not have enough people to know what to do. But I could be completely wrong. There's no doubt in my mind that if this lawsuit was to be passed, the repercussions would not only be there for Americans. Look at Germany. You already cannot buy an Oculus Quest 2 in Germany because of the Facebook requirement. The German government just sees that as being bad. And if this lawsuit passes, I think that the rest of the European countries might just start looking into it. I don't see a huge lawsuit like this going unnoticed by the rest of the world. Plus, Facebook is an American company. Therefore, anything that happens there will directly impact it in the rest of the world. I don't know what the end goal is here, and I'm worried. So let me know what you think down below. What do you think about all of this? Do you want Oculus to be split from Facebook? And do you think that these companies could have innovated and done something amazing without Facebook? Let's move on to the next piece of news. Wow, it's really hard to go back to talking to Oculus after listening to that, but the 128GB Oculus Quest has started its sales yesterday, which means we are about to have an influx of brand new VR players with the Oculus Quest back on store shelves. I feel like there's a need to say this. I'm not going to go on hating on the Oculus Quest just because I hate Facebook and what they're doing. Just because what Facebook is doing is wrong doesn't change the fact that the Oculus Quest 2 is a fantastic headset and people are going to continue buying it and continue love playing on it. A lot of people just don't mind the fact that it has Facebook login and just don't care or think about the repercussions of what's going to happen. They just enjoy their headset and that's it. It doesn't affect their daily lives. So for now, until the Oculus Quest 2 stays king, it will probably be the headset everyone focuses on. Unless this FTC thing just blows everything out of the water. That could happen. We're gonna have an influx of new players. I just want to welcome everyone that is new to VR. I hope you enjoy it here. I hope everyone is kind to you or as kind as they were to me when I first entered the scene. And I guess in case you need any help, you can join our Discord and we've got some members there that will definitely be more than happy to help you. A new Beat Saber music pack is out. Oh yeah, no, it's not. It's coming out August 31st. So yeah, in case you guys like Beat Saber music packs or have been purchasing a lot of them, you know, Beat Saber has tweeted building the beat towards a new music pack drop on the 31st of the 8th. Get hype. Now, people have usually been able to tell what the music pack is going to be from the music video that Beat Saber leaks, but this one, well, it could be anything, or at least according to me. I can't tell what this is. Maybe you guys can. Let me know what you think down below. What are they dropping this time? And from Road to VR, if I had seen this yesterday, this would have been so handy for my video yesterday, but I'm blind, so I didn't. 2 years after launch and still $1,000 demand for Valve's VR headset is as strong as ever. A small number of people willing to buy an expensive product can really add up, as Valve is finding that its high-end index headset, despite shortages brought on by the pandemic, the headset has made frequent appearances among the highest grossing products on Steam. With manufacturing bottlenecks clearing up, the headset has now been among the 10 highest grossing products on Steam for 50 weeks running. Not only that, but by scrolling down, we actually get this lovely little graph. I really need to start looking at these sites while I'm editing these videos, just to see if something new gets added. As you can see on this graph, Facebook, meaning the Oculus Quest, Oculus devices in general, are taking up 61.3% of all PC VR headsets. Now, this doesn't tell us how many Quests are being used towards PC VR, but it does tell us that Facebook is 61.3% of all PC VR. Wow, that's scary. That further makes you wonder what exactly is going to happen after this lawsuit. Wow. But Valve is also doing incredibly good at 16.2%, and HTC is coming in at 14.6%. There you guys go. As you can see, the index demands are still very high, and myself trying out the index controllers, I can see why. Those things are a work of art, and I can imagine that the headset itself probably is too. But that is going to be it for today's video. Thank you all so much for joining me today. I hope you all have a fantastic day or night. If you guys liked the video, please leave a like. If you guys disliked it, I guess the button works too, but please tell me why down in the comment section below. If you guys are not yet part of our community, make sure to join our Discord down below. Make sure to join our Reddit, where I want to see you posting your spicy memes. If you guys would like to support the channel in any way, shape, or form, we've got sick mugs down below that boost your FPS by 300% and merch that doesn't put a huge on your body. And if you guys want to be notified about content coming up on the channel, then make sure to subscribe on with your bell. Next video. Peace. That was gibberish.